done this out of curiosity. Probably thinking all the fangirling is to be had here by the name of the podcast. And the trash talk. The tea. May that be so. There will be good trash talked. And of course, what is the bad, obviously. So do come in, my dears. What's up, one and all? Welcome to something exciting and new. Welcome to the very first FanGirl Trash Can podcast. And you're still probably sitting there thinking, who is this? Who is this crazy person giving this lame intro? I'll happily introduce myself. If you are new here, but I know there are going to be people that will have heard me on a podcast before. Hello there. My name is Lita. I'm known on the interwebs as Lita Kino, and as you can tell by the title of my name, I have a Sailor Jupiter obsession problem. I am an anime blogger. I also run another podcast called That Nerd Leader Podcast, my own little solo thing. I have a guest on there every new episode. And I do a million things on the internet. And I thought it would be such a great idea to start another podcast. The story behind of how the FanGirl Trash Can podcast came to be, hence the name is so original, but it will mean a million things, it will. Wanted to start up something new with an old friend. Now, you may have heard of an old podcast that was called The Senshi Annie Girls, and I did that probably about 2 years ago it was about now, and I did it with another fellow blogger. And it kind of just then, you know, how things are in life, fall to the wayside slightly. Now, we're in 2020, and I wanted to do something, reunite with my old co-host. And then we ended up getting a new addition. Actually, last night, another fellow blogger wanted to come on board and give her pizzazz. And so I'm so happy to be doing this podcast with two co-hosts. We are a trio. And these two lovely ladies that are going to be hosting this with me, they have been very good friends since I started blogging when I entered the blog sphere in 2015. I've been longtime friends. They are amazing people. I have nothing but the utmost respect for what they do. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and then we're going to get into the goody goodies. So the very first person that I did the Senshi Annie Girls podcast with, she's also an anime YouTuber, and she does like a million things like me. It is Shay! Shay Taree! Say hello to everybody!
Hi! Hi, everyone. Like Lita said, my name is Shay. I go by Shay Taree on YouTube, and I do a lot of anime-related content on YouTube, such as like reviews. I also do discussions and talk about new stuff that's going on in the anime world. And I have a blog as well where I mostly just post my videos and stuff. And yeah, I'm pretty normal, I guess.
What are you talking about? Otaku people aren't normal. They're crazy. No. And also joining our trio as of last night, which still hilarious to me. Again, I've known her for a long time. She is another fellow anime blogger. This is her very first time on doing a podcast with anyone. It is Miss Naja from Blurdy, Otome. Say hello, I pronounced it wrong.
Oh my gosh. Hi everybody. Yes, I kind of hijacked their duo and shoehorned my way into their podcast here, but like Lita said, my name is Naja. I go by Poke Ninja 90 on WordPress, but my Twitter is actually my name in reverse. It's actually really funny. I run the Otome Games and gaming blog, Blurdy Otome, where I just geek out about Otome games and indie visual novels. I do a wide range of things. I do my reviews. I do interviews with developers of games. I do fun, funky lists, which people tend to like. So I guess, my opinion is valued somewhere. But I'm all over the place.
Oh, yes, you are. And yeah, like she said, she had to come crash this podcast. But anyway, it's nice to do a trio. It is. I am so happy to be doing this with you ladies. And the next thing you all are probably wanting to be knowing, what are we going to be covering? How often is this going to be? So, first to answer that question, the FanGirl Trash Can podcast will be at least once a month, and it will be uploaded to my YouTube channel. Yay! For it coming back semi-alive, because I don't do face on YouTube videos anymore no longer. So this is probably a great compromise, this is. And the second thing also is the title of our podcast, FanGirl Trash Can. So that could mean many things, but primarily you guys are probably going to be hearing about anime and manga and pop culture, probably just in general, but I can guarantee you that it's mainly going to be anime and manga, Otome, because we have an Otome fanatic here, Miss Naja.
Yes. Yes.
But this is a very new, exciting chapter for all of us. And what we are going to be discussing today in episode 1 is split up into 3 topics. First, we will be discussing what do we all do during quarantine. Now, we know how the state of the world is currently, and 2020 has been life-changing for everybody. I think everybody listening would agree with that. And, as anime fans, during that time, you think that we would have gotten to half our backlog of anime mangas just sitting there, and my plan to watch list has grown to over 500 now. And I think they just only increase. But what we'll be discussing is what we read, we watched, whatever we did during quarantine. So I'm gonna get Miss Shay to start us off. Like, how you been coping with things? What have you been watching and reading? Maybe me and Naja have caught up to maybe where you are on some anime maybe. So do tell us.
So for me, in quarantine, what I've been doing. So first of all, I moved during quarantine.
Oh, yes, you
Don't
did.
ever do that.
I forgot that. Nice.
I did.
Place.
I moved into. Thank you. I moved into my first apartment. My fiance and I finally got a place.
No.
So we moved literally.
Yay!
Thank you. So we moved literally 3 days after California, which is where I'm located. California shut down. So that was nerve-wracking because I thought our move-in date was going to be pushed back. But besides that, I've mostly been working from home. I'm thankfully one of the few people whose jobs have been able to not really stop. So still working. But besides working, I have been watching some stuff. So I was able to watch a few anime movies. So I finished A Whisker Away, which is on Netflix. And then I also finished today a movie called Mirai on Netflix also.
I love it. I love that movie so much.
It is so good. It was sweet.
I saw it in theaters.
Now, granted, it took me 3 days to finish.
Yeah.
It took me 3 days to finish because I was working at the same time. So my attention was my attention was on work, so I kept having to pause it or just stop it for the day. So I finally finished it today before I I had to start work. And it was so cute. I absolutely loved it. And then as far as reading like manga is concerned, I started reading Love Hina because I have never read it. And my fiance actually owns all the volumes of it. So that's why I was just like,
That's surprising. A guy owns all of Love Hina. Ooh.
he absolutely loves Love Hina. Like he actually loves the manga, but he wasn't a huge fan of the anime.
Oh yeah, the anime's a bit.
Yeah, for me, that's all I've really watched. I've only watched the anime, so he had told me the manga was a lot better and much different. So I was just like, well, I'm gonna check it out. And since he has all the volumes, I figured why not. So there's that I've been reading, and then I finished Honey So Sweet, which was another manga I was reading on the Viz Media manga app. I think that's mostly it. Yeah, between working and everything else, it's been hard for me to watch a lot of stuff. Oh, and I started actually playing the Otome game. I hope I say it. Hakuwaki. There you go. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we will. Don't worry, Naja. I can see you getting the excited jitters. I can hear it through the microphone. We will get to that section. The podcast.
I'm doing a whole happy dance over here. You guys can't see it.
Oh, I love it. So I've been doing that, and then the very last thing is I've been reading a lot of fan fiction. I got back into like reading fan fiction, so I've been doing that too.
Nice. Oh, what did you think of A Whiskers Away?
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was it reminded me a lot of Spirited Away with like the colors and everything and how they kind of like go into a different world, which is like all cats. Yeah. And it reminded me so much of Spirited Away, but I also liked like the lesson behind it, which was really cool. And what also like, so surprisingly, like my fiance was the one that recommended us to watch it. And I was glad that he did because we also just got a little kitten. So
Did you? Where are pictures? Where are the pictures?
I haven't put
Twitter now.
I haven't put pictures up yet, but her name is Bonnie. We rescued her from the SPCA, so we adopted her. And she's a total handful. She's kind of skittish, but she's absolutely adorable. Keeps us up at night because we forgot that cats are nocturnal. So
what color is she?
She's a tabby, so she's like brown and white, black and gray, white.
If I brought my mum home a tabby, she'd just die over.
She's so good. She's an American short hair, and so we love her. And it works out great because I didn't realize it, but because of my anxiety, I'm able to get an emotional support animal. So that's what she is for me. So she's so cute and she's so lovable and so adorable. I think she's out in our living room right now, probably sleeping because I tired her out playing with her before this.
When did you get her?
We got her about probably almost a month ago. Probably about 3 weeks. Got her about 3 weeks. We got her end of June. That's when we got her. So she's almost 5 months. But so when we got her though, she had just turned 4 months old.
Oh my god! I'll give you advice now. Just take all the video and pictures you can. Like take all the video and pictures.
My fiance took a picture of us sleeping because I had fallen asleep on the couch and she was cuddled up next to me. So you have tons of pictures. We have tons of videos.
I'll tell you what, you could fill up. You'll be filling up like a terabyte of a hard drive just with all that. Aww. That's so lovely. Oh my god. I mean, like when I watched Whiskers Away, it made me think of The Cat Returns. Is why I wanted to watch it. Have you seen it, Naja, yet?
I have not seen Whiskers Away, but I have seen The Cat's Return and Spirited Away, and I've heard good things about it online. So I'm gonna get there.
It is a cute film. Deals with along the themes of families breaking up and the pressures, along the lines of the pressures of youth. So it does tackle it quite hard hitting, particularly the main girl. I actually tried to watch the dub of it, but I didn't like the main girl's voice, which is done by Sheremy Lee. I like Sheremy Lee. Like, I like her for Lucy for Fairy Tale and stuff. It did not gel with me, so I ended up going to the Japanese. I like Johnny Bosch though. I love Johnny Bosch as the guy, but no, I like the Japanese version a lot. But yeah, I mean, it's gotten good. Positive. It has
lots of positive hype. It's on my list. I'm going to watch it eventually. It took me forever to watch Mary and the Witch's Flower, so I'll get there. I'll get there eventually, like I do with most of my anime watches.
That's what we do. We just eventually.
Eventually, I'll watch
the ever-growing list.
Exactly,
always.
I
wasn't lying earlier. I've got 500 planned to watch. That's no kidding. Yeah, because Leader just puts all them popular shows on the back burner and keeps piling up.
You're better than me. I don't even make a list. I just kind of go, I'm feeling.
No, I think I'm more like end up being misorganization about the whole thing, But I did want to say, Shay, you ended up reading like Honey So Sweet. Like I was watching the videos of each volume. I was like, it's like it's like cavities. It's manga series is like gives you cavities. It's so sweet,
It's so sweet. It lived up to its name.
So the main guy, oh my god, like he can have my whole heart. He can have it. Even Naja would fall in love with it. It's only 8 volumes, Naja.
I'm taking your word for this.
It's about a guy. It's so cute. Okay, so it's about a guy. For anyone that doesn't know, Honey So Sweet. It is by Amu Meguri, and and it's done by Viz Media.
Gotta Google this.
And it's your high school shoujo, yes, but this is good. This is good high school shoujo. It's about a delinquent named Tiger. Now you think he's a delinquent, but he's not really. And one day he catches these kids bullying this tortoise, and he goes over and chases them away and saves the tortoise. He's a huge animal lover. They come back and then they kind of beat him up, and then he's left in the rain. And then that's when Nano comes over and gives him an umbrella and a band-aid, a plaster. Sorry, I call them plasters in the UK, but you call them band-aids over where you are in America. And
I was gonna say
different terminology. And then from there, Tiger is he wants to get to know her and try and become friends, and Naho's a bit apprehensive, and then how it goes, they befriend each other. And what was also interesting that there's 2 other characters in this that befriend the 2 also, and they end up getting a focus as well. So you're not technically getting one couple, you're getting 2. So it is so Tiger is so sweet, just so sweet, and there is it's so just y'all I'll need to read it. It's just pure goodness. It's pure goodness.
I just googled it. It looks really sweet. I might have to pick this up, and it's complete.
Yes,
that's perfect.
The artwork is stunning. I love this mangaka, and you can't ask more for it. So
it's suggesting Faster Than a Kiss to me, and I read that years ago, and I loved it. So if it's similar to that, I'm totally gonna pick this up.
Yeah, it's gotten nothing but good traction. It has. So.
Okay.
All right.
That's the list.
Well, Miss Naja, are you gonna tell us what did you do during quarantine? I know, like Shay, you worked from home as well.
Yes. Like Shay said, I'm one of the folks who's fortunate enough to be able to work from home. So I've been working from home since March. And I'm going stir crazy. I'm going stir crazy. But aside from that, I can't say I've really been watching any anime. I think the last one I watched was Demon Lord Dante, and that's because I happened to run across it on Crunchyroll, which was completely by chance. I did see the first 2 episodes dubbed of season 2 of Fire Force during Funimation Con. Gosh, yeah, I can't think of any anime I've actually watched. It's been a while. I've mostly been playing games, and I'm going to be completely.
Games count.
I'm going to be completely honest.
Mm-hmm.
I just finished Taisho X Alice, and aside from that one Otome game, I haven't played any Otome games in a while.
Oh!
Yes. So it's funny. I've actually played a couple of Yuri games.
No.
Yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of Yuri games.
Who's
Yeah,
Naja?
Yuri games are just like Yuri anime. They're about, instead of having a guy and a gal in a relationship, it's 2 women in a relationship, or I'm doing a really bad job of describing this, but you play as a female protagonist and you romance female love interest. That's what a Yuri game essentially is. And the developer for Mizuchi, I'm butchering the name, I'm so sorry, sent me a review copy of their Yuri game, and I've been slowly just kind of hacking my way through it. You play as this girl in this village, and she gets proposed to by her childhood friend. Some shenanigans and hijinks happen, and she's accused of adultery, and she is shunned by her village, and they take her and put her in the snake pit when she encounters this snake goddess who offers to save her from imminent death if she comes with her. And so she goes with the snake goddess and to her house, and it's just, I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how to describe it.
Wow. You did fine. That was a great explanation.
Yeah, so I've been playing that, and a couple of indie games, always indie games. There's plenty of those. And I did play this one demo for a game that's currently in Kickstarter called In Blood. It's described as a gothic romance and a Lovecraftian horror. And I was just like, this sounds awesome. It's like a supernatural romance. You play as this girl. She unwittingly makes a deal with a crossroads god, like an old god. And it's just like Lovecraftian abomination looking thing, and she makes like a deal with it, and it takes her to its realm, and it's like, okay, once we fulfill your wish, you'll be able to go back home, but until then I get a little bit of your blood each time. And she goes to this world, and she meets all of these different guys there, and one guy's a dragon, and he's got like flaming red hair and horns and things. Another guy, he claims to be human, but his eyes are like really glowy, and it's really weird. It's like, who are you? There's a spider lady. And there's this guy. I think he's a unicorn, but I also feel like he's an incubus, because he kind of like lures you into his bedroom, and then he's like, oh, drink some wine, and next thing you know, you're just like out of it for about 20 minutes, and I'm like, what's going on here? So that was pretty fun. But I will say this, as for manga, I have been reading a lot of manga. Boys love manga, but manga nonetheless. I read Yarjin. Wait, can I swear on this? That's a real question, because it's the title of the manga.
Yes, you can. Yes.
Okay,
swear on this fangirl trash can, hence the name trash can.
No, you have to check. So I read the first 3 volumes of Yarjin Bitch Club, and it surprised me. One day I'll have to tell you guys the story of how I scared an old man by saying the title out loud.
I love it.
So we'll have a story edition for next time, maybe.
Yeah. But I read the first 3 volumes of that. I was genuinely surprised. It's kinky. It's got some kinky bits, but it's a lot more tame than I thought. I mean, there's kinky stuff happening in the background, but the story as a whole is a lot more tame than I was led to believe. So that was a genuine surprise. I was like, oh, look at you, being all wholesome, kind of.
We had a call the other day, and I got the full scope of what is involved in this series, and I'm like, oh, right.
I mean, okay. So, like, there's an orgy that happens in one volume, like, literally happening in the background.
Wow.
Like, there's a whole thing going on in the background.
Like, boys love, like, you're going to destroy your innocence.
No, trust me.
I don't know how to describe Yarchin Bitch Club. It's just so weird. Like it's kinky. Don't get me wrong.
Oh my
Don't
god.
get me wrong. It's kinky and like
Like
I said, they literally have like an orgy in the background, but then they have this whole conversation in the foreground where they're like talking about schoolwork or something. So there's like a real conversation going on, and then in the background you can see like the orgy, and it's like, okay, so
Wow.
is this how this is gonna?
The what is it? The conditions of the club, like how to become to enter or be a member is very kinky, strange.
Well, it's okay. So the Cliff Notes version. This guy, Tono, if I'm remembering his name is Tono. Tono goes to this rural school, this all-boys school in the middle of nowhere, and he's told that he has to join a club. So he looks through the list and he thinks, oh, I'll join the photography club. That seems tame enough. So he joins the photography club, and it turns out that the photography club is just like a guise for this group of boys to live out their kinky fantasies by pleasuring the male members of their school, including the teachers. And it's like a host club. It's like high school host club if they had sex. So yeah, that's it. So they each have a role in the club that they have to sleep with someone in order to be fully initiated within, I think it's 24 hours. No, it's within a week of being in the club. Tono is just weirded out. He's like, I'm not into guys. I don't really know. He's like, no. So another first year who joins with him, he kind of pretends to be his boyfriend. It's like, oh, we're dating. We've totally been together. So there's no way he has to do it. And they kind of have this fake relationship in quotation marks. You can't see my air quotes, but it's like, so they pretend that they're dating so that they can avoid, so that Tono can avoid having to sleep with someone, because if you don't sleep with someone by the end of the week, you have to participate in this group orgy, and like all the other members have done before. Tono is just like weirded the heck out about this, so he's like, I don't want to do it, so he pretends to be in a relationship.
When Naja explained the plot to me, I was like, all right, I'm sold. Where can I buy it?
It's so
I know.
like, it's so kinky and weird, and everybody is so empowered in their kinks and what they do. There's this character, Yuri, who doesn't even speak in like coherent sentences. He just like babbles, but he's like this sex god, and it's just like, what is happening? And like you'll see Yuri in the corner, and he'll be playing with like 5 dildos in the corner while everybody else is having a conversation, and he's just in this corner like a he's a drooling mess in the corner, and you're just like, okay, Yuri, you do you, boo. You do you. Finger guns. But
now,
yeah.
You think you're bad at giving premises. Oh my god.
So weird. I'm not doing it justice.
But like, she was sold on it when she read volume 3. It's like, that's it. Yeah, that's it. All right, I'm in.
Okay, I will preface this by saying I hate love triangles in all shapes and forms. There's a love triangle that is forming in this, and I don't like love triangles, but I'm invested. I'm invested now. So I'm like, who's Tono gonna end up with? Like, which one? Which one is he gonna end up with? Is he going to sleep with one of them? Because at this point, Tono is still a virgin. So it's like, Tono's gonna have to sleep with someone eventually. That's the whole premise of this.
If Tono doesn't go with the right one, it will be an explosion for next episode probably.
Whenever we get volume 4, oh my god, I hope it's the guy. I hope it's the one guy, because he's just so sweet and he's stoic. I can't remember his name right now. I want to say Taichi, but that's wrong. No, that's right. I think that's right. But he is so sweet. He's got dark hair and like green eyes, and he's just a sweetie pie. And it's like, he deserves so much happiness, and Tono's just being extra right now. He likes his cousin, and I don't know why. His cousin's awful, but yeah, don't get me started on this.
Okay, we won't get you started. We won't get you started on it. Shall I?
I mean, the last thing I was gonna say is I'm rereading Uzumaki. I got the deluxe 3-in-1 edition from Viz for Uzumaki by Junji Ito. So I'm rereading that, reliving all the horror memories.
Oh my god.
That only Junji Ito can.
I get that he's like the master of horror, Junji Ito, but I mean, I've read 2 by him. I've read Tomi and I've read Gyoa. I think Gyoa was the worst stomach turner.
Yeah. Oh yes, it's fish. It's like militarized fish. From the sea.
anime. Wouldn't even watch the freaking anime with it. I'm like, no. Only if Shay would watch it with me.
You have to read Uzumaki. It is a staple. It is a staple.
Will Shay read it? Will she read a horror?
Oh yes, I will read a horror.
Will. Oh,
Yeah.
and I forgot she's a fan of horror. I forgot actually.
Oh, I'm learning new
See,
things.
I just
Uzumaki.
forget shit.
I don't mind reading horror, but when it comes to like watching like a horror movie, that's kind of where I might draw the line. I don't know.
No, I get you. Like, I'm a scaredy cat when it comes to like general horror. But if it's anime horror,
yeah, if it's anime horror, I'm a pretty much
I don't know,
better.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Another?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
I loved Another.
Yes.
That's
Me
Wasn't
too.
Another where one of the biggest
The umbrella.
I don't want to say issues, but one of the scariest moments involved an umbrella.
Yes, the umbrella scene.
God.
Yeah. I was like, the umbrella scene
I
in
watched
it.
it.
I should rewatch it because it's been some time. But
I saw it with my little brother, and we were both just sitting on the couch watching this, and then the umbrella scene happened, and we both jumped up like, "What just happened? Oh my god!"
I did the same thing, but I was watching it by myself, and I was like, oh my. I was like, ooh. I said, I'm afraid of all umbrellas now.
Yes.
I'll send you one
Especially
for your
if it's your-
birthday this year.
Oh my god.
Oh,
have
no.
I have an umbrella like that too. My work umbrella looks exactly like that one, and it's
Oh, yeah.
serious.
I think I have an umbrella that's similar. I don't think it's that sharp, but
No.
similar.
I have a broken umbrella.
Like, foreshadowing.
That's even worse.
Oh my gosh. Let's forget the umbrella for a minute.
Yes. I'll put that in the title of this, the umbrella episode.
Right? Oh my god.
That
Yeah,
scene.
I've learned that I have like a little kid mentality when it comes to like horror films, like regular horror films. Like if I go to the movies and see it, I would rather sit in the middle rather than on the edge, because I'm like, if something bad happens, they'll get you first if you're on the
Yes.
edge. Or like at night, I like if I sleep with my feet out of the covers, it's just one foot. Because if it's two, you'll get dragged. If it's one, the blanket will still stop you just a little bit. I have
like
like a
this.
little kid mentality
Oh,
about scary
That's
things.
valid. That's a valid way to think about it. I do that too, so we're in the same
Yeah.
boat. But I
Yeah.
love horror, so I saw, what was it? The Conjuring with some friends, and we cracked up. We were laughing in the theater because it was
Oh,
so
God.
terrible, and we were kind of pissing off everybody else there because we were like cackling like it was a comedy, and it wasn't. It was just so bad.
See, what's weird is movies like that, like especially movies where they're like based on a true story. I'm the idiot that will go on Google and look up the actual story. So I get terrified off of the real story, but I will never see the movie in theaters. But like if people ask me about it, I'm like, oh yeah, I've heard of it. Here's the actual story, and I'll be so creeped out about it. Or I'll watch like the reality shows on TV where they're like based on a true story. We're gonna go inside this haunted house, and I will be first, and I'll watch all this.
I know not to take you to a horror movie with me then, Shay. I'll take Naja.
Oh yeah, totally. We're gonna have a blast. Let's go watch a horror movie.
The Hollywood Horror Nights at Universal Studios here,
Oh.
and like I now learned what to do, so I'll dip and dodge stuff. But the first time I went, I ran from the people that are dressed up as scaring people. I ran. They chased me. And they chased me. I was like, and then my friend was like, just stop running. I stood in the middle and just started screaming, and then they finally left. My friend was like, just don't run. I was like, what am I to do? He had a chainsaw. He's like, they don't really work. I was
Yes.
like, oh, okay.
They do that at Busch Gardens here, and I went to the horror night at Busch Gardens with a friend last year, and they had the chainsaws. But I'm looking because I used to work at a Home Depot in the tool rental, So I'm looking and I was like, wait, there's no chain on the chainsaw, sir. You can't use it like that. It doesn't function. And he's just like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, sorry, my bad. You do
Yeah, it's just the noise.
Yeah, but they catch you off guard because what they do is if you make eye contact, that's when they come after you, but they do it really stealthily. So I was just looking at the ground the whole time I was at the ground, just down at the ground, like. Mm-mm.
Yeah, if you make eye contact or if you look scared, oh, they're going straight for you.
Yep.
Okay.
I looked at
So
I kept walking.
I don't have an amazing story like you two just told. We don't really have Halloween, here in Australia. It's not really a thing. No, the last scare I kind of had was it was just before I was going to go to bed. I turn off the light, and then I feel something land on my covers, and then
Oh, no.
I turn on the light, and it's a massive spider.
Oh,
yeah.
Jesus!
Imagine. I just like
That's worse than any horror story. That's worse than any horror.
Yeah, that's you can hear.
Oh
me
my
wailing
God.
like a banshee, and I just
Oh my God.
I don't
Yeah,
know where it went. It went under my bed, and Mum tried to kill it with a bug spray. I think it died. I
Jesus.
think it's still dead, like under my bed. I haven't really checked.
I hate spiders. So.
Yes, there's one thing I'm terrified of. It's spiders. Thank you for that nightmare fuel. I needed that in my life. Oh my God.
Oh,
Ew.
I have stories where I will never forget this. I was in like high school, and there was a spider in my bathroom, and it was like crawling on the bathroom wall, but where the web was the only thing kind of holding it, so it kept slipping kind of down the wall. And I screamed like so loud for my mom to come kill it because I wouldn't touch it. And my mom was on the phone, and so she was like telling me to wait. But the spider ended up climbing on the metal part of my shower.
Oh, sweet.
So I decided to spray it with the shower head. And the spider was smart, and it ducked. Which caused it ducked, which caused it to drop the shower head. And the shower head, because it was on, the water forced it to turn upright, which then drenched me from head to toe.
Oh my God.
So my mom came in the bathroom and was just like, what happened? And I was like, I tried to kill a spider. And I was just soaking wet from water because I tried to kill a spider. And then I decided to try and drown it on the other side by turning the water on the sink and just dumping water on the side of my sink to see if I could drown it, but I never found the spider.
Oh
I hope I killed it. That was years ago. My mom no longer lives in that house, so I don't know what happened to it, but I'm terrified of spiders.
No, I can do you one better. So I was a kid, and you know how back in the day you had the cranky window, like to roll your window up, you had to crank it. You couldn't just push the button, you had to crank it. So in springtime, in spring, summerish, they lay all their little spider eggs and then they just float on the wind, Charlotte's Web style. Yeah, so my parents decided they wanted to buy us a new car. So we're at this dealership in our old car, and they're like, wait in the car. So it's hot. I'm in Georgia. It's the summer. So we have the windows down. And I've got the windows down, and then in the distance, I just see this like cloud of stuff just like floating towards the car, and I'm like, "What is that?" And then I look, and I see them. It's little baby spiders on the breeze, just like blowing towards the car, and like I'm panicking, trying to roll up the window as fast as possible, and it's one of those cranky. So I'm like working my little arms, just like trying so hard to roll the window up. I didn't succeed. I did not. Really?
Oh no!
They got in the car. I panicked. I just like I lost.
I can see like Naja, you got short arms. I can just picture it.
I'm just like no! Like it was literally like you could hear the tense horror music like in the background as they're getting closer. Like no, like no, not me.
I had a cricket in my house.
Oh God. We get thousands of them here. Thousands.
I had a cricket in my house, but I think my favorite, though, is when my mom found a lizard in our dirty clothes hamper. I don't know how the lizard got in there. To this day, we don't know, but my mom decided to put it, she was washing clothes, and then just decided, as a way to try to kill it, to put it in the washing machine with our clothes, which didn't kill it, by the way. She shook our clothes out, and it was still alive. And I was like, Mama,
defeated you.
It could swim. Like, it can live in the water.
They can swim.
So then she ended up, like, I think tossing, like, somehow we got it outside. And I was like, what if you hadn't have found it in our clothes when you shook it out? And she was like, that thing would have got burnt up in the dryer with your clothes.
Cinder. As
Oh
grasshoppers,
my gosh.
cricket cinder. That's what you'll get. This little dust that'll come out your pocket. Cricket cinder.
Oh my god.
Can use it as a new facial moisturizer.
Probably. You know, they are made out of crickets and things.
Oh no, for us that was a lizard. It was a lizard.
Well, we get loads of lizards here. They're
I
pretty
like
pretty
lizards.
harmless.
Like I like lizards. I like reptiles over spiders any day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anything over spiders is
No, keep
ideal.
me away from the snakes. No, keep me away from the snakes, thanks.
And
I'm good. I live in one of the most dangerous places on the planet, though.
yes,
know.
yes, you do.
Yeah, you do.
Giant spiders
do.
that just come out of nowhere.
That wasn't in the memo of when I moved here.
I've had these conversations with friends. I'm like, Australia looks beautiful, but I can't handle the bugs. Nope.
No.
Spiders the size of my hand.
You
No,
should just
thank you.
Come to the south. The south is safe. Well, I guess.
She's luring us into her country
Yeah.
to get us
know.
spiders. Yeah. This is a trap. This is a trick.
It is. It's a trick.
Right.
It's a trick.
You know
It's a
what?
trick.
You two will be scaring our viewers. They want to hear about horror stories and stuff. And
Oh.
I mean,
Oh,
I
sorry.
played
kidding.
okay.
They'll be.
I lost an Otome game because of a spider.
Oh.
Like the option was like to kill it was a spider on a table, and it's like, do you kill it, ignore it, or like walk away from it? I was like, kill it, of course. So I grabbed the book to kill it, and then like behind me is this massive spider, and it's like game over, you died. I was like, wait, what?
That's a terrible ending.
I was like, I tried to kill the spider and I died. I was like, you totally did. I did. Game over for me. I'll do it
The
again.
spider
too.
killed you.
Yes, essentially. I was like, this is cold. So yeah, no.
All right.
Even in old games.
Moving on from scary stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry guys.
No, don't ever apologize for going off track. I think that's the best podcast way, to be honest. I will only just go over like 3 series I've completed during quarantine and maybe just 1 manga because I completed a lot of shit. The 3 shows I completed was Cardcaptor Sakura Clear Card, finally, because that came out when?
Like 3 seasons ago.
I still need to watch that.
Yeah.
So
Watched episode 1.
It was a little like, I felt like the anime. It was I first thought when I completed, this is underwhelming, well, because when I got to the end of the completed episode, I'm like, they did the massive slow build up to this, and I'm thinking, okay. When we got to the end of it, I was like, right, I know there's going to be another season now, because I'm like, you cannot leave things off like you did just there. No. So, maybe I'll go back and rewatch it. But I love just seeing Sharon and Sakura having their little moments together. That just made me feel alive again. That was that. Another one was Beastars, which is pretty popular, which you two, I think you two should definitely check out. I already told Naja the synopsis last night, but it's people keep saying it's an adult version of Zootopia. It is not an adult version of Zootopia by no means. I love the plot premise where we have a society with herbivores and carnivores, and essentially the focus is on a grey wolf named Legoshi, and he falls in love with a dwarf rabbit named Haru, and he has this inner battle within himself. I should eat the rabbit, but I'm falling in love with it. So there's this inner struggle, and there's a lot of psychological themes, and also there's a murder that's gone on. One of Legoshi's best friends, an alpaca, was murdered. That kind of falls into the background a bit because the show really focuses on the characters and the psychological problems they deal with. Fantastic show. I want the manga. I want it all. I think, Shay, you'll get invested in it easily. It's on Netflix. Go watch it now. I expect to report for next episode, Shay, so I'll be holding you to that.
on Beastars.
Wow.
You too, Naja. At least
I
watch
just
the first
go for it.
episode.
I'll think about it.
Pressure.
I'll think about it really hard.
Okay.
I'll think about it really hard.
And then
Y'all had a hard time. What is it? Tower of God? No,
Beast
God of
Stars.
High School. Y'all know you had a hard time with God of High School. So
Oh, the God of High School, yeah.
Oh, we'll get to that in a second.
We'll see.
Oh, you're also full of energy today. And then the third series one of I completed was 1994 Marmalade Boy, which was a joy. All 76 episodes.
Yes. Oh,
I love Marmalade Boy.
Oh my god, that was a ride. That was a ride.
God, trashy, like trashy
like
old
the best
classic.
trashy shoujo you could ever watch in
It
your
is.
life.
Yes.
And it's also just so weird.
Yes, the whole we're siblings, but we're not. What?
Like just the fact of I think me though is just even weirder that just looking at the parents, like you're living with your ex-husband or ex-wife, and they're with somebody else.
They went to Hawaii. They swapped partners, and then they explained, "Oh, we were actually with them before. We just broke up and switched, so we're switching back now." I was like, "Okay, you do you, grown people, do you?"
All right.
I did like the protagonist. It was very different to some shoujo male protagonists.
I love you.
He wasn't fake about anything. He was very authentic, and
God,
he was great.
You was one of my first loves.
Oh,
I love you.
Oh.
He's perfect. He's so sweet.
Oh god, what's the name of Mickey? What's the name of Mickey's other friend? The one who tried to get with her at first. I can't remember. He annoyed me at first.
Blue hair dude.
No, not him. The brown haired dude. Oh my god, how can it escape me? I just only watched it 2 months ago.
He's a throwaway character. That's why we don't remember him.
Mickey's friend.
That's why.
Right.
That's exactly why we don't remember him, because he's a throwaway character. Blue hair dude, I remember, but not at all.
I didn't like him in the beginning, but then slowly he was just whiny. He was a whiny bitch. Like half
This is
the
why
time.
we don't remember. We blocked him out. He was terrible. There it is.
Oh yeah, there was that teacher. Oh yeah, the teacher and the student love. I was like, what?
That's better than that.
Well,
that's better. That's better than Cardcaptor Soccer with the 4-year-old and the 24-year-old guy. So but I know she's not 4.
Yeah.
I was
she's like 8.
I was like, oh, I think I was into the third episode, and then we're introduced to Mako and Teacher. I'm like, right, well, let's see how this 16. Ship sails.
At least she's 16,
yes,
and she's not 12.
Mako was, I think she was like half sensible.
Yeah.
But I love Mickey. Mickey was she was very klutzy, naive, all of the above, but she was very endearing.
Very earnest.
But yeah, like you and Mickey just had so many ups and downs. But towards the end, I'm like,
understatement.
No.
Understatement of the lifetime. Like understatement of a lifetime. They had a few ups and downs.
Oh my god, I need to do a whole episode on just Marmalade Boy in general. But yeah, right. Moving on. We won't even bother going over what manga I read, because I read too much and we'll be here all day. What Naja mentioned earlier, which she said Tower of God, but that wasn't what we were going to discuss for the next part, is the summer 2020 season. Da 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 da. Some people will be surprised because none of us here really pay attention to seasonal anime a lot, but Shay is the one to blame here because
what?
Blame for the idea. It's all right. It's a good kind of blame. Don't worry, honey.
Okay, good.
Oh my god! Did you have a little scare there? Oh, I wasn't.
My life flashed before my eyes.
Dramatize everything. We're gonna be. We all watched the first episode of The God of High School, which is a webtoon, which is by Youngji Park. It is an action shonen, and it's currently only started airing. That was on the 6th of July. And Shay, I saw that she did a video for it. This was, I think, before I decided let's do a podcast, girl. And then I thought, well, why don't me and Naja watch the episode, and then we can all discuss the first episode together. Because why not? Because webtoons getting anime adaptations is a thing now. So what do we all actually think about that in general?
I think it's great.
That webtoons are being made in anime, absolutely. There's so many
Yeah.
great, diverse stories that aren't being tapped into. Like Lore Olympus, like that's fantastic. That would make an awesome anime. It's supposed to get in an animated series or something. But oh yeah, I'm totally for it. Sold.
Same.
Mm.
I have no I would love to see True Beauty made into an anime.
Yes, there's a drama for it, I think, right?
Oh,
There is. I watched the drama for, what was it, Cheese in the Trap. I mean, that got me interested to want to read the webtoon. I've only read like a handful of webtoons. I actually started the other day, I started Siren Lamnet.
Siren's Lament is awesome.
Yes.
Oh my god, I love that one.
I just started it.
I have that one on my saved. I haven't started it yet though.
Read it. It is so good.
It is. I love the art style, and I mean, I'm kind of getting used to that. There's music. Tells you to turn on music while like you're reading it, and I'm like, okay, I do get this, and I'll probably like get used to it as I'm going along with the story. But no, I always hoped that that webtoons would get animes one day. So, but the first of many, the very first one we had, which was Introspectra, which is a supernatural. Then we had obviously the famous Tower of God. I think that was mixed reactions to that, but I have not seen the anime for it yet. I've neither read it. I know some people have gone on about, to us, me and Shay in particular, to read the Tower of God, but I never got around to it. And
same.
And then here we have the next one that they announced, which was, I can't remember when they announced these 4 shows. I can't remember the 4th one that's yet to come out, but this was the 3rd one, the God of High School. So it is a fighting tournament, and this world is split into 3 realms. We have the human realm, we have the sage realm, and then we have the heavenly realm. Heavenly realm is the highest, and the backstory is that this is made up of one of the realms, the sage realm, of demons and gods, and there came a time when weak humans were loaned the power from gods to fight off the demons, and then there ended up this exchange system being created where humans are allowed to borrow the power freely, but they are not allowed to attack gods. And so then we have our main protagonist, Jin Mori, who wants to enter the God of High School. What a name for a tournament, the God of High School. And all I know is that they're all high school students who are going to participate in this. And the very first episode set up extremely well of where things are going, and I already got the inclination the people who are hosting this tournament, they're shady as hell, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll start off with you, Naja. What was your first impression of the episode overall?
So I generally don't go for fighting shonen type anime. I mean, Fire Force is an obvious exception, along with Haikyuu and My Hero Academia. But as I list off a list of shonen anime I've watched, so I didn't really know what to expect, especially since I just found out we were watching this morning. So, no prep there. So I went in completely blind. I knew it was a webtoon. I was going to try and read the webtoon to kind of get some bearings. That fell through.
You were going to wow everyone with your information.
Work. I had work today. Sorry. Work just threw everything out.
That's what you said to me this morning when we had our phone call.
The minute I hung up with you, like, my work kicked up. It was like ridiculously crazy. So I ended up watching it later on in the afternoon, and I went in expecting it to be something weird. I was like, all right, this is just going to be a bunch of fighting. Let's sit down and watch this. So I turn it on, I'm watching, and I'm just like, why are their noses red? I was like, is this something?
Yeah. I was gonna point that out.
It's like they're all drunk.
Yeah.
First thought number one, I was like, why are their noses red? Then I was like, wait, their ears are really big and red too. Is this like a thing? And I was like, okay, you're being picky, stop it. So I'm watching, and I'm like, okay, Jin, I see you. You got these stars in your eyes. You're a protagonist, I can tell. You got the crazy hair and you got crazy eyes. You're a protagonist. Got it. And then what ensued was just 20-ish minutes of just insanity. I was just like, oh my god, like he's okay. So if no one's ever seen the anime Samurai Flamenco, there's a scene where the main protagonist of that show chases down this guy on his bike to go retrieve an umbrella.
Yeah, because I just started this series. And I got up to episode 2. The umbrella, look, the umbrella again.
So, but that's the thing. So set up. So God of High School has a scene exactly the same. So there's like a purse snatcher who takes up the purse of this old lady. So Jin is like on his bike because my first thought was like, oh, he's an anime protagonist because he's running late. He's running late. So he's running late, but he passes by this old lady getting like mugged by this guy. So he zips his bike around and he like books it after this guy on his bike to try to get him. He's like, I'm gonna get and it's funny because he comes up with this whole like backstory about why she needs her money in his head. Like she doesn't say, he makes it up in his head. He's like, she has to have the money to pay for the orphan grandchildren or else she won't be able to pay her. And I'm like, what is happening? I was like, I guess. And then like he's like tearing up at his own made up story. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's so sad. Go get that purse snatcher. So he booked it after her to try to get this purse snatcher. And I'm just like, what is happening? But I don't care because I'm into it at this point. I'm like, yeah, get her, get him. Then he meets this girl. I don't remember her name, but she's got a kendo she's got a kendo sword. And she's just like, hey, I'll go with you. So they're like riding tandem on this bike. Like she's on top of him riding this bike. They like chase this random guy down. And then they pass this other guy who I don't know his name either. I've never heard his name. He's like Todoroki. He's like cool and aloof. And it's like, okay, cool. And he joins in and they just start like wailing on this purse snatcher. And it was just so surreal and so funny. I'm like cracking up. And then when he actually gets to the tournament, it's like, oh yeah, fight. This is serious. And I'm like, wait, what? Oh, you're gonna just like fight. So and even the people who are competing are confused because they're like, wait, oh, they just want us to fight. And I'm like, yeah, they want you to just like battle royale. So they're like, battle royale. And I'm like, okay, battle royale, do it. So they start fighting, and the animation is so fluid, and like you're just watching people kick and punch people, and it's beautiful. It's just like nonsense. It reminds me an awful lot of Blood Blockade Battlefront, where they just be popping off for no reason, and you're just like, go with it. You just go with it. Like, oh yeah, they're just fighting this beast. I don't know why they're fighting it. And it happens. So they just start like fighting, punching, kicking, and the animation is so fluid. And of course, Jin, because he's the only one I remember his name, he's like I'm main protagonist of the show. So he's like, oh yeah. So the guys are like, oh, he looks weak, and he's like cracking his knuckles and cracking his neck. And he's like, yeah, come at me, bruh. And they all come, and he just starts like wailing on people, just kicking, boom, 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 boom. It reminds me a lot of Shinra from Fire Force with the kicking. It's like boom. I don't know what it is with these protagonists and this kicking powers, but I'm all for it. Some strong leg action. They left it
on a horrible cliffhanger. I'm like, oh,
they
this
did.
is what webtoons do. I'm like,
fight the guy with the kind of locks but not really locks hair. I don't know what his name is.
The prisoner.
Yes, because he comes out at like the last minute, and they kind of like, oh, he's a big deal. Oh, we finally got him in, and then he just shows up and he's like, and starts taking everybody down. And Jin's like, oh, a real challenger. Well, the girl comes first. Girl's like, oh, a challenger, and she's like holding her own, and I'm like, yes. A series where a strong female fighter is holding her own. She's not just there for fan service. She is actually kicking ass. And she holds her own. And then, of course, he, like, swats her aside. And that's when Jin shows up. And he's like, I got you, bruh. I got you. And he lands this, like, really cool. I'm doing a terrible job at describing this. This, like, really cool, like, hit with his elbow.
Oh, my God. You say you're doing terrible at describing this. That's a load of bullshit.
I can't lie. I was hyped because, like I said, I went into this kind of like really skeptical, like, oh, here we go. Here's another shonen fighting anime. Fine, whatever. Cliche as I'll get out. And then I'm just sitting there like on the edge, like, yes, Jin, yes. Oh, did you see that kick? Did you see that kick? Oh my God, that spin kick! Oh my God, yes. I don't know who you are, Todoroki stand-in dude, but I love you too. I love you. You have a job at a convenience store. You're saving up your bread, and then you get to the after. And then, like, you're watching the after credits, and it's just them. It's scenes of them hanging out as friends. It's like, oh, I hope they're friends. I want them to go out and just be friends and
They're
hang out
supposed
and, like,
to
do.
be. Well, apparently.
Yeah.
I want. See, I don't know. Like, I want that, but I was like, watching.
Everyone, that is Naja's detailed synopsis report for you all.
It was. Oh my god. I thought I was gonna hate it. I really did, and I got into it. So after the first episode, I was like, "Is that it? What else happens next? Like, where's the rest?" And I even left out the bit where there's like these guys on a beach just like having some shady conversation. I don't know what's going on with that. I have no clue what's happening with that. But I will say this: the webcomic starts off exactly the same because I got to the very first panel, and it's the same as the very start of the episode. I didn't read it, but I got to the first panel. So it did follow it from the very beginning. It was perfect, you know. It was a perfect adaptation.
The series has got like 400 chapters.
Yeah, I saw that.
Wow.
So
I saw that.
we're in. I'm excited. So Naja loved it. So I was surprised for her reaction.
Oh, I didn't expect to like it at all. I really went in wanting to hate it, and then I was like, I can't hate you. I can't hate you.
I can't hate the nonsense.
Yes, you're too dynamic. These characters are too fun. Jin is fun so far. I just like the concept of them just wailing on each other. I guess that's it. Mindless just wailing. I'm sure there's gonna be a plot introduced at some point, but just watching them just like beat the crap out of each other and just the animation made me. I was like, this is beautiful. And there was like a little bit of blood in one shot when Jin kicked the prisoner dude. I was like, oh, there's blood here. It's actual blood. Okay. Dude, go on.
There you have it, folks. So gets a win from Naja. What was your impression, Shay?
I also really loved it. So I had actually been following the up to them releasing this anime because I had watched the 2 or 3 trailers they actually released for this show before they actually announced the actual release date, and I actually thought the release date was going to be pushed back because of everything that's going on, so I was shocked that it actually came out on time.
Yes.
But I remember watching the trailers and I immediately got vibes of Yu Yu Hakusho and the tournament arc, because I was like, this reminds me of like Yu Yu Hakusho if it was just a tournament arc. And so when I watched it, I was like, yeah, this is a great show. I was like, I love the music. I love the opening song. I love the ending song. So I immediately had to find out who they were that was singing this song. And I liked Jin. Jin is he's such a cool character. He's very funny, very comedic of a character. The girl's name is Mira. I also like her as well. And then Daiwei was the other character we were introduced to, the Todoroki-like character.
Yes.
That is who he is. And he also is just like aloof. He kind of also reminds me of Mori from Ouran High School Host Club, just with the fact he's so stoic.
Yes.
But they also, like, because they're a trio, I don't know why, but they also kind of reminded me of like the original Pokemon trio of Ash, Misty, and Brock. Also because Mira says a line when they're like waiting to like start the fight or whatever, and she's like, "You owe me for me like having to help you." And I was like,
Shay,
this reminds me of Misty.
Yes.
And with how they started off the entire tournament, kind of like with saying, hey, it's a melee, it's a free-for-all, also brought me back to Yu Yu Hakusho, because when they did the tournament arc, the dark tournament arc, they start off on a boat. And on the boat, they're then told that they all have to fight each other and only one team can actually compete. And so when they told them to do that, I was like, this also reminds me of that one specific scene. I think the only thing that I was kind of worried about, or kind of makes me worried, is kind of like how overpowered the people seem to be. Like right off the back, the main character seems super powerful, and I was like, this is different. Like I'm used to like main characters, like if they have a sort of power, like they might have a sort of trial or tribulation or some issues going on, but right off the back it was like, oh, like everyone is really powerful. Okay, let's see where it goes from here. But I loved it. I liked it. I mean, I grew up on mostly shonen shows anyway, mostly fighting shows. So for me, I was like, oh, I'm all for it. And I've also never read the webtoon. So for me, I went into this blind just like everybody else. So.
Yeah, we're all on the same page. We are. I watched. Oh god, I watched this late at night. Well, it was 1 a.m. when I ended up watching the episode. I'm like, when I couldn't finish my blog post because Naja didn't let me. I was like, oh crap, I thought, oh crap, I've got to watch it. Yeah, like you two, I completely fell in love with it. It'd been a while since I'd actually watched a first episode of a new seasonal anime. There is a lot to say about this bloody first episode. Naja's already given like the bloody synopsis. It is wacky and crazy. It definitely reminded me of a show I just finished at the moment called Nobunaga Gun. Very over the top crazy. Especially not so much with its characters. Well, who knows? But it reminded me of that. The first thing that spoke to me was the opening. The opening is a freaking bop. Like,
Yes.
Just it
Agreed.
starts out mild. Like we got this like acoustic trance, and the guy singing, and then I think the song's called Contradiction, I believe.
Yes.
And then we go into like dubstep. I'm like, oh, this is giving me the first time I saw the gangster opening Renegade. It reminded me of that instantly, and I'm like, okay, I'm loving you already. So that opening theme, oh yeah, everyone keeps hyping it up. It is true, folks. It's so true. Take our word for it. I think the opening bit where we've got Jin, who's a child, and then his granddad. I think he's like tapping him on the shoulder, and then the animation was kind of like in this chalk style, like someone had just taken a piece of white chalk and drew it on a blackboard, and then the animation changes to this glistening teardrops everywhere. And I'm like, wow, that just the quick transition of that. And because who animated this is Studio Mappa, and we're all excited for Attack on Titan season 4, which I am. So Studio Mappa, they're on the map. They're on the map up there. That's a great pun, isn't it? They're on the map. I love a couple of comedy bits I loved. Well, everything was just insane. Of course, Jin flying off the barrier side, just like, woo, let's go. Can that be me during school? That would have been for real. And then Mira just admiring, getting a nosebleed from looking at muscles. She's a lover of muscles.
She's a girl.
Muscles. I think that was the moment I fell in love with her. This was way before the whole sword, seeing her fight with a sword and everything. And then obviously Naja mentioned the red noses. I was like, this is a distinct animation that's going to stick out all the time.
Right?
And then we get to the fighting bit where everyone starts fighting each other, and then there's this beautiful sequence of fighting where it's focused. It goes from Jin to Mira to God, what's his name again? Daewoo.
Daewoo, I think she said.
Yeah, there's this beautiful sequence showing off their fighting skills, and I loved it. So, hands down, extremely great first impression. I haven't decided if I will watch this weekly. I don't know yet. I haven't decided that. What about you two? Naja will?
Yes. I'm invested now.
Maybe we should all. Yeah, I have a feeling I'm going to be watching this like weekly. Yeah.
I think I'm also going to be watching it weekly. I probably won't be doing reviews on it weekly. I'd rather just review it as a whole.
Save your energy. Trust me. Episodic
reviews. Oh God.
Listen from past experiences.
Yeah, I'll never do
Trust
that.
God, I will wait till it's over to do just an entire review.
Well, I'm sure the next time we talk, we'll do like a catch up. We'll do like a catch up and say, how are we feeling about the God of High School and stuff. So we'll definitely do that for next time.
Oh yeah. I don't mind during the podcast talking about the like each episode, but just making a YouTube video about it. Oh
No.
Lord, I'm gonna save myself.
Yeah, you are. You save yourself. Episodic reviews are just draining to me, especially if you're a blogger.
Yes.
But yes, that is the God of High School. You can check it out on Crunchyroll right now. So, the next and the final part of our segment, which Naja can tell us that, can't you, Naja?
I can. It's Otome Games.
We're going into Otome now. For the record, I'm probably considered the novice here, so I'm like anyone listening to this. You're probably going to learn something, and I'm probably going to learn something. So, Miss Naja, how did you get into Otome Games?
Oh my god, I hate this question more than anything else in the world. So the reason I hate this question is I hate this question. The reason I hate it is because I can never remember. It's been so long. So I can't for the life of me remember why or how I got into Otome Games. It was I think I vaguely remember a friend of mine back when I was at Howard. She was really into like K-dramas, and I feel like she's the one who introduced me to Otome Games. She might have said, "Oh, there are these dating sims. You should play this game," and I played a Voltage game, and that was the end of that. And for those of you that don't know, Voltage is a mobile Otome Games company. They put out a wide range of games. They used to do standalone apps, but now they have this like massive portal app called Love 365. I forget what the rest of the tagline is. So yeah, there's that. I had this really nice description of what an Otome game was. I had to pull it up because I forgot what I said myself in my own blog post, which, live and learn. So Otome Games is a Japanese term used to describe a series of story-based games targeted primarily towards women. Otome is a feminine term that literally translates to maiden, so Otome Games can be directly translated as maiden games or female games. And that's the extent of me reading from my own blog. So,
So cheating.
So no, I had to pull it up. I was like, I had a really good. If you have a really good definition, why try to make it up again?
Yeah,
what I wrote.
Okay, fair enough. It's supposed to be the master of Otome, the mistress
exactly,
of Otome.
Yes, yeah, which is why I read my own stuff. So essentially, the main focus of Otome Games are the romance element. You play as a female protagonist, and you romance a group of attractive men. Bishonen, I believe, is the appropriate term. Bishis.
At the screen.
Essentially. Essentially, Otome Games, while romance is the main focus of Otome Games, they do have a lot of genres and they do have a lot of stories. Like Shay mentioned earlier, she's playing Hakuwaki. It's a historical Otome game that follows. It's loosely based on the Shinshigumi, which were like the feudal. I'm terrible with timeline. They're like this. I said it with words. They're like this police force that was in Japan back in the day, and they worked with the shogunate and it's all messy. Anyhow, it's all history, and I'm terrible at it. So you have these historical figures as romanceable characters like Hijikata, Saito, Okida. I know Saito is best boy.
Yes.
I will say it over and
I
over
do like
again.
Saito.
Saito is always best boy. Now,
I can't wait to play his route.
Yes. Thanks for distracting me, Lita. I was going good, and then you got me talking about Saito.
Oh, just payback.
You also... I am done with you.
I was done with you a long time ago.
I'm trying to be official Otome Games scholar here, and you got me distracted by my best boy. You know how I feel about Saito.
You can tell us best boy. What about that Mystic Messenger? Oh yeah.
Okay. Mystic Messenger. Mystic Messenger is some history for you folks. Mystic Messenger is a mobile dating app that was developed by Chariots. They also, before they released Mystic Messenger, they actually released two. They actually released two. I can't with you, Lita.
Sorry. And go on.
They actually released two PC dating sims called one. The first was called Dandelion, which is brought to you, and the second is Nameless. The one thing you must recall. They tend to have. It's a Korean development company, and their stories tend to have more of a darker element to them. They tend to be more just darker. In Dandelion, you play as a young college student who's got really overbearing parents, so you live on your own and you're trying to live up to your parents' expectations and you're just like being crushed by the weight of their expectations and everything that you have to do. And one day you discover a basket full of cute animals, 3 rabbits and 2 cats, and you decide to take them in and adopt them. Fun story, they turn into hot guys. And you are now tasked with living with these guys who are actually animals and getting to know them, and you romance them. And it gets dark with each route. It gets darker with each route you go through, but it starts off pretty cute and pretty, fun. You're getting to know these animal people, and you're living your day-to-day life, and your life becomes more meaningful because you have them there. You have someone there for you, and it's not just my mom wants me to get all A's. Then that's it. I mean, that's essentially it. Then you have Nameless, where you play as a high schooler. Your parents are abroad, and you were living with your grandfather in Seoul while your parents were away, but your grandfather passes away. And she collects those six pointed, or the ball jointed dolls. She collects the ball jointed dolls. And they're like her pride and joy. They're like her little friends, and she loves these dolls. So she starts collecting them, and they keep her company after her grandfather passes away. And she talks to them, and she buys them nice, pretty clothes. But she doesn't tell anybody because she thinks it's other people think it's weird that she collects these dolls. One day, the dolls come to life, and they're like, "Master," and I'm like, I have so many problems with that, but okay. It's like, "Oh, Master, we love you so much, like we want to be there for you." And because she's been talking to them and she's been like feeding life into them, they know intimate details about her life, and they're like, "Oh, well, we know how sad you were when this happened," or, "Oh, well, we've always been watching to you, we always love you." And I'm like, that's creepy, but okay. And she's living with these dolls now turned people, and it's just her I mean, you can see the theme here. She's just trying to get used to her life with these dolls, and they have memories of being dolls. So there's this kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It's like uncomfortableness because they're people now, but they also remember being dolls. So they'll bring up situations with her when they were dolls and she was telling them things or she was talking to them. And she's just like, at first she's like, that's weird. But she's like, I also feel comforted by the fact that they're there, that they've always been there for me. And it's a really emotional story. Like, I'm not doing, it sounds creepy. It is creepy, but it's actually really emotional and really great. So leading up to that, so the third game that Sherritt's released was Mystic Messenger. And Mystic Messenger is a very different type of Otome game, a very different type of game than you would see in most visual novels, which are story-based games that don't necessarily have to do with romance, which is the overarching kind of parent for Otome games. So in Mystic Messenger, the game, in most Otome games and most visual novels, the bulk of the game is you going and interacting with these male characters. You make choices that determine which path you end up on, which route you end up on, what outcomes you end up with at the end, good, bad, or indifferent. But with Mystic Messenger, the bulk of the gameplay takes place within real-time chat rooms and phone calls. So it's like you're using a phone app to contact these people, to talk to them. So you interact with everyone within the chat room. You don't actually meet them. It's just all chat rooms. So like and I kid you not, it takes place over 11 days. It's in real time. Some of these chat rooms are at midnight. Some of these chat rooms are at 5 a.m. Some of these chat rooms are at noon. Yeah, some of them are at 1 p.m. Like when the chat room opens.
Like I've played a fair bit of it when it first came out. I think it came out in 2016.
Yes, it did. I played the game when it first came out, and I didn't sleep for 11 days. I had alarms going off to wake me up for chat rooms.
Don't play it.
Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. Please don't. But I had alarms going off to wake me up for chat rooms at midnight, 3 o'clock, and 5 a.m. I would then go back to sleep and then wake up when my alarm went off again. I walked out of a movie theater to answer a chat room. I walked out of a date for a chat room.
Oh my god, okay. Yes. The level of shame is going up.
There's no shame here. No shame. My boy, I got him. So it's a very different kind of mechanic than you would normally see because it's like you're in this app. And they actually call you too. Like they'll call your phone. So your phone will ring and it'll be Seven talking to you.
That was weird. That was
it
weird
was.
when that
it
first
is,
happened to
it
me.
is,
I'm just like, what?
It throws you off the first time because it's in Korean. So you have to like look at the words at the bottom to know what they're saying. But it's a very different type of gameplay, and it was a big thing at the time because it was so different from any other game that was out there. So that really blew off. Like Dandelion and Nameless were popular, and they still are, but I don't think they got the same notoriety that Mystic Messenger has. Mystic Messenger has become a huge thing, a phenomenon, and they actually news. They just released in English the webtoon for Mystic Messenger. It's called Invitation of the Mystic Messenger.
I did see that.
The first three chapters, the prologue and chapters 1 and 2 were released earlier. Today is actually the first day that the next 3 chapters are available on Tappy Tunes. So if y'all want to read that, it's totally okay. And I mean, today being...
Is that a homework?
Today being July 11th, 2020. I should say this because we don't know exactly when this is going up, but July 11th, the chapters 3, 4, and 5 were just released. I'm going to read them later.
Well, that'll be your homework then, I guess. For us to
read it. I wrote a whole first impressions on it.
I was gonna ask you, Shay, on Hakuwaki, what are you playing it on?
I'm actually playing it on my phone.
Oh, nice. Oh, I can play it too then. Well, now you'll be proud of us then.
I would. Go play. I've been telling you to play Otome Games for years.
She has.
I've been telling you to play for years.
I was very similar to like Naja, started playing them with Voltage. I don't play them as much, but I actually first started playing them with Voltage when on my iPhone. Back when I was in like college, I think I started playing on them.
Yeah, I played
Voltage
Mystic Messenger, and then I played some other dating scene someone suggested, but I don't know. I couldn't get behind it. I think I just wasn't in the right mindset.
Okay. You know what? Here. I know you, so I know what you like. I will think of some games that I think you would enjoy. Okay. Because I tend to get people asking me a lot, oh, what Otome games would you suggest? And I literally snap back with, okay, what devices do you have? What do you like in other media? Because asking me what Otome game you should play is kind of like, okay, well, what do you like? Do you like action? Do you like adventure? Do you like mystery? Do you like just straight romance? I like
romance, which is half the time where Otome is, and I'm open to anything. Historical is a big win with me.
Historical, okay. You'd like Hakuwaki then. It's historical. It's all historical.
Yeah, I've only got my phone at the moment, but I know you can play obviously there's a Nintendo Switch.
Hakuwaki is PC and Vita, but the Vita's dead, so we don't talk about.
Vita's dead. I've always wanted to play what is it? Oh god, it's escaping me. Code Realize. I've always wanted to play that one.
Code Realize is now available on the Switch. Recent. It's on the Switch. It doesn't have a PC release and it doesn't have a mobile release yet, but it's Vita and Switch. They're going to release the other games. Also, I believe Code Realize is on the PlayStation 4. I might be wrong.
I don't know. I was going to ask a question. We've got mobile and we've got PC, all these options. Which platform do you think's got the most availability?
PC.
I
mean, I would say Vita, but the Vita is dead. But
I remember so many people were sad that the Vita was dead.
PC right now, if you're looking at indie games, a lot of the major Otome game localizations are moving to PC as well. Like I know we have the Psychedelica series is now available. Amnesia is available. Hakuwaki is available on PC. Nameless, Dandelion are on PC.
Will these be all in Steam? Sorry, just to
Yes.
interject.
Yes. No. Those are all in Steam. Now that I think about it, there are a lot more mobile Otome games, but I don't play them as often. And I'm not a big fan of free to play because I like my instant gratification, and waiting for tickets to reload every day just kind of kills the vibe. But there are a lot of mobile games. Voltage has a lot of great games. They're now part of their Love 365 app, and they're cheap. They're not too expensive. Prologues are free, but the main stories are like $3.99. It's like $1.99 for epilogues, $2.99 to $3.99 for sequels. It depends on how long it is. And a lot of their games are moving to the Switch. Like they just ported Star-Crossed Myth, Kissed by the Baddest Bidder, Our Two-Bedroom Secret. There's another one I'm missing one. I know it. God, I don't know, something else. But they're porting a lot of them for the Switch. A lot of Otome games are making the move to the Switch now. It's the new platform. Like not Code Realize. Color X Malice just came out for the Switch, and they're going to release.
Excited for that one.
Oh heck yeah! I love that game.
Yeah.
I love Color X Malice. I will say it until I am blue in the face.
It's all right. She'll mention this every podcast now. It's like with
I sure will. I sure will. It's like Phoenix Wright the Otome. You get to investigate crimes, you get action, you get adventure, you get a kick-ass heroine. Oh, hell yeah. I'm going to suggest Collar X Malice. So I'm tired. They're releasing the fan disc in December, and I'm getting it. Unlimited, I'm ready.
She's ready. So if you all want anything Otome, go visit Naja on her blog. It'll have everything you ever need to know.
flirtyotome.com. Just show up. Show up. You'll find something nice. But the only thing I was going to say is while I do enjoy Otome games, I have seen in recent years that I like indie games a lot more. Western, in quotation marks, Otome games.
You do cover a lot of that on your blog now and stuff, which is great.
Yes. And I like them because while I do enjoy Japanese Otome games, they tend to follow the same kind of tropes and patterns. Yeah, the same tropes and patterns. The heroines the heroines of Otome games tend to be self-insert characters. They'll give them a little bit of a personality just to kind of keep things, funky fresh. But for the most part, they're pretty much a blank slate because you're meant to insert yourself into the story through them. They're the proxy by which you enjoy the story. In contrast, Western indie games and Western Otome games and dating sims tend to have heroines with a bit more substance, with a bit more personality, and they're a bit more engaged in the story. They have a bit more agency in the events that are happening to them. So they're much more dynamic characters. And I enjoy that a bit more because I find them more relatable than just the girl who's like, oh, I'm so in love with him. I'm going to follow him everywhere. Like, it's not as relatable to me. Like with Collar X Malice, even though Ichika, good God, Ichika is a Japanese Otome heroine. She has some agency. She takes initiative. She does things. She's not just the events of the story don't just happen to her. She makes them happen. And I like those types of those types of heroines a lot more, which is why I tend to gravitate more towards indie games and Western Otome, because they're just more engaging characters. But I also like that indie games and Western Otome games tend to have more diverse casts of characters. You will see characters who are Black, Brown, the Eurocentric, you'll see Asian characters, you'll see all types of characters in all shapes and forms. And I did a whole article on diversity in Otome games, and I just feel that Western games tend to have more diversity as a whole. They also do introduce some female love interests sometimes, so you'll have male and female love interests, you'll have non-binary, like with Lunaris games, when the night comes, they have non-binary and female love interests. They have a lot of LGBTQ plus representation. So if you're looking for games that are a bit more representative and have a bit more variety in the types of characters you see and the types of romance options you have, you definitely want to go with Western Otome games or indie games. They tend to be awesome. I will recommend them till I have nothing else to recommend. I love my Otome games.
She does.
I love them, but I will push for indie games every time, just because of just how immersive they can be, story-wise. So yeah, that's
right.
my
Shay will be the next Naja by the time of the next podcasters roll around.
Probably.
I'm working on it.
I'll have played something myself as well, so we'll be able to
do it.
Don't worry,
You'll
Naja.
Do it. You'll like Hakuwaki. It gives a very Rurouni Kenshin vibe to it.
Yes.
I've seen the Anime Girl and I loved it. I own it, so I've been wanting to, check out the games. Oh, sad news, by the way, actually, I should mention for anyone that wants to know. Hakuwaki the Anime, it's not available on High Dive anymore. It's been taken down, sadly. Yes, so I think as far as I know, the only way to watch it is to go buy it. But I know getting it's a bit hard. Yeah, kind of out of print case scenario.
I know Crunchyroll has the first season. They don't have all three, but Crunchyroll has
that's right.
only the first season.
Maybe it was oh my god, I can't remember. But I know that
That's why you should play the games.
But yeah, but I know, that it got taken down off a High Dive. Yes, Naja, we know.
I know. That's why you should be playing the games.
I can expect from now on that we will have some Otome segment in these podcasts. I can say, but like, so Naja, how's the Otome everything going? I was gonna say everybody should check out Naja's blog. Also for her, I think Thrifty Thursdays, cheap games that you can play.
Yes,
it's a great segment. Yes. I love it. I personally love it. I read it every time she puts out one. Great if you love Otome or you love any kind of mobile game like that, and she's got whole bunch waiting for you.
Thrifty Thursday was for me. Not a lot of people know this, but I created Thrifty Thursday for myself.
She did.
I'm balling on a budget, and I needed games that weren't gonna break my budget, so I created it for me. Y'all just get to enjoy it.
Yeah, that's great. Love it.
Under $10 every game.
Well, y'all, that we're about to conclude our first episode of the FanGirl Trash Can podcast. I hope you all enjoyed our discussions on umbrellas, gods, and Otome. That's probably going to be the title of the podcast. I hope we all made an excellent impression on you. I hope we all did. Now, as for where you all can follow these lovely ladies, my hosts, Shay, you can follow over on her YouTube, which is Shay Taree, and her Twitter, which is also Shay Taree. And Naja, you can follow over on Blurdy Otome, and you can follow on her Twitter with her name that's spelled backwards.
It's Beck, Beck, Naja, Naja. That's my Twitter. It is a story behind it. We'll do it another time.
But I will leave the links and everything to their channels and such in the description for you below, and as well me. You can keep up with me on my blog and also my Twitter, which is at Kino Reviews with a capital K, not a lowercase k. And we did it, y'all. First episode of the FanGirl Trash Can podcast. I would like to extend a humble thank you to you ladies for co-hosting this with me. I look forward to our future episodes together.
Yes.
It is. I'm excited.
Just forewarning, you don't get Naja
talking about Suki.
Haikyuu. You don't want to be in a room with Naja and Haikyuu. You will be there for 2 hours and deprived of oxygen.
Suki! I will talk about Suki Shima K, my boy, my salty french fry. I love him.
I do owe Naja some Haikyuu talk after a very long time. Yes, we will but we haven't read the manga. I've not read the manga yet, so hopefully by then I'll have read some and we can discuss.
Yeah.
Shay,
You
you
have
have
it
to
up.
read some of the manga too.
I do. I actually need to catch up on the anime. Actually, I've only seen the first season,
Oh,
so I
girl.
catch
Okay.
the anime.
Okay.
What?
Oh,
What?
okay.
No, I'm
Shay,
sorry.
You
I'm
must
sorry.
watch the anime. Oh my gosh, the best redemption arc ever is season 3. It's like Suki show.
Oh god.
The Suki show, season 3 was Suki's moment to shine.
So, before Naja goes flying off the wheel here,
Yes.
Shay, your task, your homework is to at least watch the second season of Haikyuu before the next episode.
2 and 3.
I will do that.
2 and 3.
I will
3 is
do
only
that.
10
Don't. I'm not worried if you don't make it to 3, but 3 is pretty freaking great.
10, 3 is only 10 episodes.
I agree with that.
Yeah, that's true. But yes. Well, thank you one and all for listening to the very first episode of our podcast. We look forward to the next one that will be in August. And say goodbye, lovely ladies.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.